Richland County Board to order. Mr. Kalish, could you please take the roll?
Yep. Carroll,
Here.
Murphy Lopez, Brewer,
Here.
Seat,
Here.
McKee,
Here.
Renish, Luck, Manning, Gotchel, Glassbrenner, Ingrid's here, I believe. Rudersdorf,
Here.
Gentis, Kirk, Cosgrove, Frank, Severson, Williamson, Hui, Fleming,
Here.
Boyce, and McGuire. You have a quorum.
Thank you. And here for the invocation this evening is my friend and Pastor Mike Brenninger. Mr. Brenninger. Please stand.
This is, all right. Okay, please join me. Lord, we thank you for the county in which we live, the privilege of being in this special place. For those who serve to try to guide it in the right direction, I pray your favor on them, that you would give them wisdom and understanding to make good decisions tonight and in the future. We pray for well-being for each of them, for their health, for their families, that you would watch over them and be with them as they govern, help them to govern wisely, and let there be favor on this meeting this evening. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Kalish, would you lead us in the pledge? Remain standing.
I pledge allegiance.
Thank you. We have a 23 or 33 point agenda tonight. And I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda, Mr. Cosgrove. Seconded by Mrs. Ruderdorf. You made a motion, that's good enough. All those in favor of this agenda signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have an agenda. The minutes of the February 21st meeting, any corrections, revisions, problems with the way it was presented? If not, I'm going to declare those minutes approved as published. Number 6 brings us to public comment. Do we have anyone for public comment? Mrs. Glassbrenner. Oh, the minutes from February 21st? Maybe they weren't published.
No, they were published, but oh, they're not in your packets. Oh. Okay, I can upload them real quick. Hang on one second.
I'm gonna move, do we have anyone here for public comment? No.
Ready here, hang on. No, why they didn't say.
Hello, Mr. McKee, I see you.
I
It
see.
should be uploaded to your packets right now.
Okay, so the minutes are being uploaded even as we speak.
They're there. They should be there.
All right. So if I'll give you a few minutes to take a quick peek at those. Then I'll ask for a motion to approve. Since they weren't really available until just now. May I have a motion to approve the February 21st minutes? Mr. Manning. Seconded by Mr. Kurtz. All those in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, no public comment. A resolution honoring retired county employees, Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 23-20. Now therefore be it resolved that all residents are encouraged to join the county board in celebrating the accomplishments and contributions of government employees at all levels. Be it further resolved that the county board expresses its appreciation to the above persons for their hard work, enthusiasm, and dedication to the Richland County and its residents, and wishes them all the best in their well-deserved retirement and future endeavors. Be it further resolved that the county clerk shall send a copy of this resolution to the above listed employees. This is being offered to you by Finance and Personnel Standing Committee on March 7th of 23.
Thank you. What, you've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Cooey, seconded by Mrs. Glassbrenner. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Carries.
Mr. Severson, yes, sir.
Were these just for employees that contributed to the state retirement?
I can't answer that.
These were employees that, yes, it met requirement standards for ETF.
Okay, because there are a couple of people that we would consider employees, but were not benefits eligible for the county that served 20+ years on the Richland County Ambulance Service. And I don't think that they were recognized for their years of service.
Okay.
Would that contribute to this here?
Again, if they were not serving in a full-time benefited capacity, this was all directed at folks that were eligible for ETF.
Okay.
But Mr. Severson, nothing would prevent a recognition of those folks if you want to bring something forward. Not right now, but perhaps for next meeting. You try to do the right thing and you always make a slight error sometimes. Don't know if it's an error or an oversight. All right, we have the resolution. We have it approved. Takes us down to resolution celebrating several employees' longevity with Richland County and various departments. Mr. Kalish.
All right, this will be resolution number 23-21. Therefore, be it resolved that the county board expresses its appreciation to the above persons for their hard work, enthusiasm, and dedication to Richland County and its residents, and wishes them many more years of success as employees of Richland County. And now therefore be it resolved that all residents are encouraged to join the county board in celebrating the accomplishments and contributions of government employees at all levels. Be it further resolved that the county clerk shall send a copy of this resolution to the above listed employees. This is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Standing Committee on March 7th of 23.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Voice and seconded by Melissa Luck. She's trying to get her mic on, so. Okay,
I have a, Mr. Chair, it's Melissa.
yes.
I wasn't at the March 7th meeting and I see that I'm marked as voting yes on all of the resolutions from finance, so that should be corrected.
Okay. We'll do that. I don't know how we do that, but we'll do it.
You can update the resolution.
If you've looked at this list of employees, which I have, it's pretty impressive. We got some 40-year people. We got several 20-year, 30, several 20. So very impressive list. I know we have high turnover, we think. However, last time Sean made a presentation, he pointed out that probably compared to other counties, we're not bad in longevity and turnover, and compared to industry standards without county government, we're probably not doing too badly. I'm not patting us on the back, but I'm saying, trying to say that in spite of all the negatives that we hear from time to time, it is a very good place to work. So we voted on this, haven't we?
No, you have a first and second.
Well, first and second, all right. Any other comments anyone else wishes to make? Otherwise, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Takes us to ordinance. And this is Mr. Bindle's bailiwick, so I'll invite Mike Bindle to a microphone, the zoning administrator. And the first on the docket is ordinance relating to a parcel belonging to Cormax Group LLC, Max Arns, in the town of Dayton. Mr. Kalish.
This will be ordinance number 23-3, amendment number 564 to zoning ordinance number 5, that the following described 26.87 acre parcel belonging to Cormax Group LLC in Max Harns as in the town of Dayton is hereby rezoned from General Agricultural and Forestry District to the Agricultural and Residential District. This is offered to you by the Land and Zoning Standing Committee on March 6th of 23.
All right, you've heard the ordinance. What's your pleasure? Mr. Manning makes the motion. Seconded by Mr. Cooey. And we'll call on Mike to give us background.
To explain a little bit more on this background, there's 3 lots that are being created that's ag residential that equals that 27 some acres. There's also 1 lot that's being zoned to residential 2 that is less than 5 acres. So there will be 4 newly created lots that are less than 35 acres.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, any questions? Mr. Manning? Mr. Manning, please speak in the mic when you, Don Steve can't hear you.
That's probably a good thing. Mike, does this have anything to do or related to the goat problem we had in the town of Dayton?
I don't know.
You don't know if this is the parcel where they were?
I've never heard of any goat problem in
Oh.
Dayton.
You're lucky.
Okay, sounds like another agenda item there. All those in favor of this ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ordinance is adopted. Number 10, an ordinance relating to a parcel belonging to Kenneth and Karen Edgerly in the town of Buena Vista. Mr. Kalish.
This will be ordinance number 23-4, amendment number 565 to zoning ordinance number 5. The following describes 6.0 acre parcel belonging to Kenneth and Karen Edgerly in the town of Buena Vista is rezoned from General Ag and Forestry District to Ag Residential District. This is being offered to you by the Land and Zoning Standing Committee on March 6th, 23.
You've heard the reading. What is your pleasure? Ms. Gentis, seconded by Mrs. Rudersdorf. Mike, give us some background.
The background on this is that the applicant is keeping the 6 acres and selling the rest of the ag land to a neighbor.
Okay? Sounds logical. All those in favor of this ordinance signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Number 11, ordinance relating to a parcel belonging to Phyllis Anderson Estate in the town of Aiken. Mr. Kalish.
This will be ordinance number 23-5, amendment number 566 to zoning ordinance number 5, that the following described 2.34 acre parcel belonging to Phyllis Anderson Estate and in the town of Aiken is hereby rezoned from General Ag and Forestry District to a single-family residential district, again being offered to you by the Land and Zoning Standing Committee on March 6th of 23.
You've heard the ordinance. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudersdorf, seconded by Mr. Cooey. Mike Bindle, please.
Background on this is kind of same as the last one. The property owners are keeping the house and barn and some acres and selling the rest to a neighbor.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? If not, All those in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Mike, are there any petitions for zoning amendments received since the last county board session?
There is a petition by Thomas and Sherry Phillip to rezone 8 acres from ag forestry to ag residential, section 4, town of Buena Vista. There's a petition by Brian Hack to rezone 12 acres from ag forestry to ag residential, section 19, town of Marshall. There's a petition by Michael Milford to rezone 2.96 acres from ag forestry to residential 2, section 11, town of Westford. And there's a petition by David Roker to rezone 5 acres from ag forestry to residential 2, section 2, Buena Vista.
Sounds busy. Anything recommended for denial?
None.
Thank you. Thank you for your report. Number 14, an ordinance creating a code of ethics and repealing ordinance number 6-2877-10-8. Mr. Kalish.
So this will be ordinance number 23-6, and it is an ordinance creating a code of ethics and repealing the ordinances 06-28, 07-7, and 10-8. Mr. Chair, did you want me to read this entire thing?
No,
Okay.
but I wish Sean were here so he could do the highlights for us. Does anyone else want to comment on that? That was in those meetings, Ingrid Glassbrenner, for instance.
I can speak to it, Mr. Chair. So your
Okay,
rules and strategic planning took many months. I think it was at least 6 months in which they went through section by section on evaluating the different elements of our existing ordinance on ethics, as well as the different amendments that went into it, and then reviewed several other counties for examples of languages. They kind of picked through the different ones that they liked for each section, did a lot of wordsmithing in committee, put it together as a final type of a draft product. And then this last month, they went through that draft product and kind of gave it the final blessing. So it is quite an extensive effort. A lot of research and time went into it, led by Supervisor Sean Murphy Lopez, doing a lot of the drafting and putting together, but had a lot of input from the committee on bringing the product before you tonight.
Yes, it was a lengthy process. I will agree with that. Okay, if there are questions, or I guess the code of ethics is something that you probably don't worry too much about until you violate it. So don't violate the code of ethics and you'll be fine. They're common sense things. If you look at it and read through it, they're things that, well, yeah, I can't, if I have an interest in a business, I can't do business with the county. So things like that. Okay, all of those.
No, I need a first and second.
Oh, I need a first and second, Mrs. Gentis, and a second by Mr. Turk. Okay. All those in favor of the ordinance creating a code of ethics and repealing the old ordinances signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 15, a resolution classifying a position in the newly created Human Resources Department. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 23-22. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the above listed position. Be it further resolved that a funds transfer from Health and Human Services Fund 56 in the amount of $57,893.25 to Fund 10 General Fund to fund the Human Resources Director position. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage and publication. And this is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Standing Committee on March 7th of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudersdorf, seconded by Mr. Manning. Does someone want to
Chair.
speak to this? I will ask
I'm sorry, I can let Mr. Langer.
Administrator
speak and then
Langer.
ask the question.
Okay.
So this is an initiative coming forward from Finance and Personnel that's kind of satisfying two goals. First is in our strategic plan, we have one of our elements is to centralize human resources. The other element that kind of came, that pushed as a catalyst on this was our directives that came from the county board in directing centralization. One element that has to be teased and still understood yet for 2024 is though the directive coming from you folks from county board also required $100,000 of reduction in levy in the process of centralizing. A catalyst element that kind of led to bringing this forward to you now rather than in conjunction with the 2024 budget included a departure of one of our employees with HHS. Rather than filling that position with HHS and fulfilling the human resources duties that that position carried out, took this as an opportunity for 2023 to move that, to not fill that position in HHS, but to create an HR director position. To fund the position in 2023, we plan on moving $57,893 from HHS's budget over to a new HR budget. Additional funds that we've identified right now include some offsets from a grant supplement that came in to the Veterans Service Office. That money will be able to use for veteran services. We plan on moving an additional $14,000 in change from their budget to make the budget whole for this year. The elements as well that we plan on having this position do is to help offset the many hours that go into recruitments and trying to centralize and standardize that. Our benefits package, as well as finance and personnel. We had a lengthy discussion on trials and tribulations on moving into the new health insurance program, as well as being able to help reach down to departments to support them with personnel matters, policies, FMLA, workers' compensations, those types of initiatives. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You've heard I guess we have it before us. We're discussing it right now.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Any
ask a
other?
question.
Yes, Mrs. Glassbetter.
Is the plan for this to be posted, or was there an internal position that you were looking at rolling over into this?
The plan would be to post the position. Internal candidates are more than welcome to apply for the position. But it would be posted outside. We would be posting in Shoppers and on our website and Indeed. With it too, the next item then is the change of the organizational table. We would see this then as a department head position and moving the payroll and benefits position underneath the HR department.
Thank you.
Ms. Gentis.
I didn't know about this. I guess I should have been paying attention to finance. So I thought that the county administrator position was supposed to be in charge of HR and finance. So if we now have an HR position, do we need to not have a county administrator position, but go to a county coordinator? I'm confused about why we need this position.
Well, I'll take a shot at that because we asked Clint to create this in our strategic planning that he bring back, human resources, centralize it. He bring back, one of the things we asked him to do is bring back accounting and procedures. So this is one step towards that, as I see it. Anyone else? Angie from Trish's area is no longer with us. I mean, she's not with the county. She took a job in Madison, so she did a lot of things. She'll be difficult to replace, but part of her duties was this for them. So it's coming over. Yes.
But this is for the whole county now, right?
Yes, for the whole county, yes,
Including Pine Valley.
including Pine Valley. The question is, Clint?
So the position would,
Is that going to work? Pine Valley specialized employees.
Yes, Mr. McKee. That's Richard McKee, who was chair of Pine Valley Committee, by the way.
as presented to finance and personnel, I would see this transition is going to have to be incremental like all of our changes. You would bring in this position, get them acclimated to how things work across the street at the mothership and helping out on the other campus with HHS, your community services building, trying to tackle those types of problems. And then try to then see about expanding it out to meeting the needs of, say, a Pine Valley. Pine Valley does have staff out there as an HR coordinator, hat is worn as a kind of a double duty out there. They would still be able to bridge over and help with different elements of it, but it would be kind of phased in on if you wanted to reduce HR support out there to make sure that folks, are kind of integrated and are able to work with these two campuses before you brought in that third campus. That answer your question?
Yes.
Well, kinda, right? Right, Richard? Okay. Anyway, it's a new position. It'll be working under the administrator. And it's part of his staff and one that we've long needed in the county, in my opinion. Anyone else? All right. Going to call for a vote. Those in favor of this classification signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
No.
Okay, I guess I'll call for roll. It's hard to pick up numbers on the virtual, so please take a roll, Mr. Kalish.
Yeah.
A roll vote.
Yep. Okay, so we're gonna start with McGuire today.
No.
All right, Carroll,
Aye.
Murphy Lopez, Brewer,
Yes, aye.
Seep,
No.
McKee,
No.
Renish. Luck,
Aye.
Manning, Gotcho. Glassburner,
Aye.
Rudersdorf,
Aye.
Gentis,
No.
Turk.
Aye.
Cosgrove. Frank,
Aye.
Severson, Williamson, Hui, Fleming,
Aye.
Voice. All right, we have 14 A's and 4 no's,
14 A's,
and
ayes,
5 no's, I'm sorry, 14 A's, 5 no's.
So the resolution carries then. It's adopted. Number 16, a resolution making amendments to the county classification, compensation, and staff authorization policy. Well, let's see more of it. Amend Richland County's comprehensive plan consistent with 66 point, no, am I?
We're
did I
at
jump
number
down?
16 now.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was right the first time. I just thought I was wrong. So, Mr. Kalish, please.
All right, this will be resolution number 23-23. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that the Richland County Staff Authorization Table is hereby amended by the adopting the attached table. Be it further resolved that the resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. This is again offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Standing Committee on March 7th. There is an attachment, 16A with the table. You'll probably have to make it bigger because it's maybe a little tricky to see on your screen.
And so as talked about, the changes to your authorization table is going to be the insertion of a human resources department with human resources director and payroll benefits specialist falling underneath that, both at one full-time equivalent for each position. Mr. Chair.
Well, thank you for that explanation. We don't have the resolution before us yet, so I need a motion. Mr. Turk, seconded by Mr. Gotchel. Okay, so it's the insertion of the new job. Is that correct? And as you said
Yes,
before.
yeah,
right?
it's going to change the authorization policy to place that position on there, put it as its standout department, and then have the payroll and benefits position falling underneath the human resources director position.
Right. So we've created a personnel division, a human resources division. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No. No.
Okay,
No.
we'll take roll once again.
We will now start with Carroll,
Aye.
Murphy Lopez, Brewer,
Aye.
Seep,
No.
McKee,
No.
Renish, Luck, Manning, Gotchel, Glassburner,
Aye.
Rudersdorf,
Aye.
Gentis,
No.
Turk, Cosgrove, Frank,
Yes.
Severson, Williamson, Cooey, Fleming,
Aye.
Boyce, and McGuire.
No.
All right, so 14 in favor, 4 not in favor.
Thank you. So the resolution is adopted. Then number 17, of which I read half of already, but I'll read it again. A resolution to award a contract to Southwestern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission for professional services to amend Richland County's comprehensive plan consistent with 66.1001. Mr. Kalish.
All right, this will be resolution number 23-24. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that the county board hereby enters into a contract for comprehensive plan update prepared by the Southwestern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and be it further resolved that the resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage. This is being offered to you by the Rules and Strategic Planning Standing Committee on March 2nd of 23.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudersdorf, seconded by Mrs. Glassbrenner. We considered this in the Rules and Strategic Planning Committee, and it looks like a good deal for us. This may be covered by grant money. Anyone else want to comment? I think it will be, as a matter of fact. Yes, Mr. Frank.
That was actually one of the deciding factors is it would be covered by grant funds. The other project, I believe, was about $100,000. So
Yeah.
We're very thankful for the work they've done and
Well,
the price.
Regional planning is so familiar with us and our various communities in the county, so it seems like a logical step. Okay. All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have it. Number 18, a resolution authorizing the Fair, Recycling, and Park Standing Committee to proceed with use of the 2022 e-cycle grant that was awarded to Richland County. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 23-25. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the Fair, Recycling, and Park Standing Committee to apply the grant funds as required by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to the event scheduled. Be it further resolved that Fair and Recycling Coordinator Ms. Carla Dowdna is authorized to sign on behalf of the county such documents as may be necessary to carry out this resolution, and approval is granted for the grant funds to be used in accordance with the terms of that grant. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication, and this is being offered to you by the Fair, Recycling, and Park Standing Committee on January 25 of 23.
You've heard the resolution. Mr. Renish, seconded by Mr. Manning. And do anyone have further comments? I think this is something we do every year. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Number 19, resolution relating to obtaining a state grant for the replacement of a bridge number 9 on the Pine River Recreation Trail. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 23-26. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the County Fair, Recycling, and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $110,000 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail AIDS Program for the purpose of replacing bridge number 9 as a part of the state snowmobile trails in Richland County. Be it further resolved that County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the county such documents as are necessary to carry out this resolution. Be it further resolved that it shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. It is being offered to you by the county board members of the Fair and Recycling Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Renish, Mrs. Rudersdorf, seconds. And they're trying to give us money, Kathy. Should we take it?
It's free. There's no county match.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you know that for agenda items 19 through 24, all the snowmobile grants, there's zero match required by the county. And no matter what the dollar amount is, DNR requires a resolution. So that's why there's resolutions for all of these.
So we'll handle them quickly. But thank you for that explanation. Okay, they're giving us money. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, number 20, this is bridge number 10. Mr. Kalish.
So this is resolution number 23-27. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the County Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $180,000 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail Aids Program for the purpose of replacing a bridge as a part of state snowmobile trails in Richland County. That be it further resolved that County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the county such documents as necessary to carry out this resolution, and that this resolution be effective immediately upon passage and publication. Again, offered to you by the same committee, county board members of the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Rudersor? Mr. Carroll seconds. Okay, same deal, right? Yes, Mr. Carroll.
Yeah, I actually have a question on both. I was just wondering how the numbers would come about, the 180,000, and is that, are we assured that if the contractor does the work, if it goes over, is there any recourse?
Thank you. Mr. Severson will respond to that. Supervisor Severson.
Okay, so I had my hand up during the last time to kind of explain, and I want to tell you that, so it's not really free money. So where this money's coming from is non-taxpayer dollars, which is correct. It comes from your snowmobile registration dollars and your annual trail pass to ride a public snowmobile trail. So there are around roughly 208,000 publicly registered snowmobiles, about 240-some thousand altogether in the state of Wisconsin. Richland County has about 521 publicly registered snowmobiles. So that's where that funding is coming from. And when you apply for that grant, we take estimates from the contractor. If it does go over, there's a certain dollar amount that then the DNR would cover. This is all approved by the Governor's Snowmobile Recreation Council and then sent on down to the counties to be the fiscal agent of that. Zero taxpayer dollars are going to go into it unless the county feels like it would like to contribute some money towards the bridge of their Pine River Recreation Trail that they do own, that's deeded to them.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful explanation. We got it. And it's paid by the snowmobilers, basically, registration fees.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Guyer.
I have a two-part question. Number one, are we competing with any other county for this money, or is this money just being offered to us and now we simply have to accept it? And the other part of that question is there any matching funds required by our county to
Well,
accept?
Kathy Cooper said there were no matching funds, but Kathy, did you want to respond to the first part of that?
Yeah, we apply for the grants and they're due the 15th of April. And then it goes to the state and then they review all of the grants. If there's anything missing, they let you know. And then in August, there is a meeting of this council that Mr. Severson talked about. And it gets voted on there. And there's, I don't know if all 72 counties, but a lot of the counties, but it is a competitive grant, so we may or may not get that. But we don't know unless we
If we
apply.
don't get the grant, we won't do the work. I imagine.
Correct.
Okay,
So all 72 counties are eligible for this grant, and not all 72, but a lot of them do submit to have their bridges replaced. A lot of these bridges, and you got one coming up here, they are on private property that are non-government owned. That is perfectly okay to do that. So what we're seeing here now is that these two bridges, 9 and 10, are both on the Pine River Recreation Trail. Since the Pine River Recreation Trail has been involved, I think since 1991 too, somewhere in there when the railroad deeded that over to us, that snowmobile funding has been used to maintain those bridges and to put in all those new bridges. So this grant awarding is a useful life of that bridge would probably be 10 years. I think that's what they say. So this has been past 10 years and we're just applying to redo this bridge because
thank you.
it needs it.
Yep, okay. All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. We have passed the resolution. Next one is a resolution relating to obtaining a state grant to establish a new section of state snowmobile trail, Mr. Kalish.
Okay, this is going to be resolution number 23-28. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the County Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $75,000 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail Aids Program for the purpose of replacing a bridge as a part of the state snowmobile trails in Richland County. And be it further resolved that County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is authorized to sign on behalf of the county such documents as necessary to carry out this resolution, and that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. This is being offered to you by the county board members of the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 2023.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Severson, seconded by Mrs. Rudersdorf. Same thing, Kathy?
Yes, only this one's on private property.
Yep. Okay, all those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? My question is, did we skip one of the bridges?
That's one they just.
Did we jump a bridge? What?
We did not. You read the agenda item for the next agenda, but I
Right.
read the proper resolution that you just approved.
Okay.
I got you back on track, Marty.
Well, thank you, Derek. Okay.
Now it's the new trail.
So now we want to talk about the new section of state snowmobile trail then.
So this will be agenda item number 22, resolution 23-29. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the County Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $3,500 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail Aids Program for the purpose of adding a new section of state snowmobile trail between Boaz and Muscadet. The County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is authorized to sign on behalf of the county any such documents as necessary to carry out the resolution, and that it shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication, offered to you by the same body of the county board members of the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Severson, Mr. Cosgrove seconds. Same thing, right? More of the same?
Well, the same, it's just instead of bridges, it's trail.
All right.
So I just want to make note, so last year at this time, we did apply for the same exact grant, but we were denied. It's coming from the Governor's Snowmobile Recreation Council. So they just denied it just because all 72 counties are submitting all their new trail and trying to get a piece of that money, just that our ranking didn't come in as good just because it's a small section. However, we didn't get the proper information. The Snowmobile Club did not provide the county with the proper information, so they kind of set it off to the side, told us to apply next year. They didn't really deny it, they just said apply next year because time was running low.
Okay,
So that's what we're doing.
all right. Okay, all those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. We're gonna get a new section of trail, maybe. How about a number 23, a resolution relating to obtaining a state grant for reroute of a state snowmobile trail? Mr. Kalish.
Resolution number 23-30. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $0 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail Aids Program for the purpose of rerouting the state snowmobile trail between Boaz and Blue River. Be it further resolved that County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is authorized to sign on behalf of the county such documents necessary to carry out the resolution, and that it shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication, is once again offered to you by the county board members of the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 23.
You've heard the resolution. Your pleasure, please. Mr. Cooey, seconded by Mrs. Glassman. Well,
Yes, yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Yep.
What is a $0 grant?
Basically, for the trail to be recognized by the state as a new, or the rerouting, we have to apply for the grant. And it's $0 because there's nothing they're going to, the Snowmobiles Alliance is going to do to it. Like they're reusing signs and stuff, It sounds stupid, and I asked the guy at the state, and he said, yes, you have to apply for it, so, and I have to have a resolution for it, so.
Okay,
This is considered a mandatory reroute. So this is acknowledging that we're moving the trail that was funded back or to a different area.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you can reroute it. Put it where you want to, but get permission first. We just need some snow, don't we? Number 24, a resolution relating to obtaining a state grant for maintenance and grooming of state snowmobile trails. Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer
you got the wrong
Protection. Did I
one.
jump again?
Yep.
Okay.
We're on 24.
Yep, 24, state grant, maintenance and grooming. Mr. Kalish.
So resolution number 23-31, now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the County Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee to apply for and accept a $42,000 grant from the DNR's County Snowmobile Trail Aids Program for the purpose of maintenance and grooming of state snowmobile trails in Richland County, with the grant period being from July 1 of 23 to June 30th of 24. Be it further resolved that County Conservationist Ms. Kathy Cooper is authorized to sign on behalf of the county any such documents to carry out the resolution, and that it shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication, offered to you by the Richland County Board members of the Fair Recycling and Park Standing Committee on February 22nd of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mr. Severson makes the motion, seconded by Mr. Cosgrove.
This is the annual grant we apply for to do the maintenance and grooming of the trails.
Thank you. Trail maintenance. Does this also include our Pine River Trail?
Yes.
It's this, for them to groom, sign, and the final mowing of the year.
So this one is your volunteer hours. So anybody that goes out and puts a sign in the ground, clears a tree off the trail, does brushing, dirt work, this is all their hours that add up. And then they submit that, and Kathy's submitting it, and then this is what we're gonna get back, to go back to the Richland County Snowmobile Alliance to reimburse them for their time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you've heard the resolution and an explanation. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the resolution is adopted. Okay, Mr. Kalish, now help me here. Where are we?
Agenda item number 25.
25, resolution authorizing the Land Conservation Department to apply for a joint allocation grant from the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection and the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Mr. Kalish.
Okay, resolution number 23-32. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted for the Land Conservation Department to apply for and accept a 2023 joint allocation grant from the Wisconsin DATCAP and Wisconsin DNR in an amount not to exceed $253,092, and be it further resolved that the grant and required match is itemized as follows. Number one, not to exceed $172,899 for staffing with no county match for the first position, a minimum 30% county match for the second position, and a minimum 50% county match for the two remaining positions, not to exceed $75,000 in cost share for construction practices with no required county match. Number three, not to exceed $20,000 for nutrient management plan cost sharing with no required county match. Be it further resolved that the chair of the Land and Zoning Standing Committee is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the county any documents necessary to carry out this resolution, and that it shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. This is being offered to you by the Land and Zoning Standing Committee on March 6th of 2023.
Okay, you've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Gentis, and seconded by Ms. Luck.
I have a typo. I noticed when on that, now therefore be it resolved, I put 2023, it should be 2024.
Okay,
Okay.
Corp Council typo acceptable. Okay. Explanation?
This is our annual grant we apply for to pay for part of our staff and also to help, we do cost sharing with the landowners.
Right. So this is what makes you go,
And this is just what we're applying for. Doesn't mean we're gonna get that much.
but we normally do, don't we?
Not,
No?
No. We apply for as much as we can and then we see what they give us.
All right. All right, do we have a motion and a second on this?
Yes, we do.
We do. All right, we'll vote. All those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We've adopted the resolution. Number 26. A resolution updating the staff authorization table for Health and Human Services. Mr. Kalish.
Resolution number 23-33, now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted to replace one psychiatric RM position in the staff authorization table in the policy on personnel classification, compensation, and staff authorization of Richland County with one APS crisis professional at grade H. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication and is being offered to you by the Finance and Personnel Standing Committee on March 7th of 23.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Boyce makes the motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Cosgrove. And I see we have Trish Clements, our HHS director, in attendance. She's going to tell us all about it.
So we have 2 psychiatric RN positions in our staff authorization table. In February, one of them left, and the other nurse went into her role doing the behavioral health clinic. That leaves an open RN position that is not needed. We are asking to eliminate that from our authorization table and instead fill an APS crisis worker position.
Thank you. Makes sense to everyone? Seems to be. All those in favor of this change signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we've adopted the resolution. Number 27, resolution submitting a rural development federal appropriations request for UW Richland campus. Mr. Kalish.
Okay, this will be resolution number 23-34. Now therefore be it resolved, the Richland County Board of Supervisors submits a federal appropriations request for the purpose of refurbishing the UW Richland campus to create a sustainable model for the success of other 2-year rural colleges. And be it further resolved, the amount of funding request shall be $3.2 million. Be it further resolved, Richland County desires to participate in a consortium with other 2-year colleges to share what has been learned through this process. Be it further resolved, the Richland County Board of Supervisors encourages the Richland Campus Alumni Association and Richland County Campus Foundation to notify their membership of a potential fundraising campaign to provide a local match. Be it further resolved that the County Clerk Derek Kalish shall transmit a copy of this resolution to federal representatives of the Richland County area, including House Representative Derek Van Orden, President Joe Biden, House Representative Mark Pocan, Senator Ron Johnson, and Senator Tammy Baldwin, as well as state and local leaders, including UW System Jay Rothman, UW System Vice President Jeff Bernhardt, or I'm not exactly sure how to say his last name, sorry. Richland School District Administrator Steve Board, Richland County Campus Foundation President Terry Sobronic, and Richland Campus Alumni Association President Kathy Granger. This resolution is being offered to you by the Education Standing Committee on March 13th of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Ms. Gentis?
I don't know, is this appropriate now? This was not able to be accomplished right now, so I'd like to postpone this resolution to another meeting. Is that how you would do that?
Well, I'm going to refer to Corp Counsel here. May we take this off the agenda?
It would be an indefinite postponement.
Okay.
So are you wishing to make that a
Yeah,
motion?
I am wishing to make that motion if that's what.
Or an indefinite postponement, all
Yeah.
right? Do we have a second for discussion? Mr. Frank, do you second? Okay, Mr. Frank seconds. Now maybe you can tell us why you want to.
Well, it's very complicated with the deadline dates and with some of the people, and I realize, I think you got notified, Mr. Brewer, of some of these deadlines the Van Orden office told us about, and so Van Orden's office wasn't sure that they could accept it, so we're looking to see if there's another date that would be, and so it would be inappropriate right now.
Okay, well, in my defense, they called me the week of and said, these are due. Now, perhaps they had sent some other,
I don't know, that's what they just said
Yeah,
to us. I don't
okay.
know, Marty.
Well, that's fine. That's fine, I'll take it, I'll take it. But, okay. Then we'll go on. Yes, Mr. Ray, Mr. Carroll.
Yeah. Assuming this does come before us again later, I would ask that we get a little more information on the 3.2 million or whatever that figure may be, and also what appropriation program they are pursuing.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Reddish.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. I'd like to see the master plan that was developed by the foundation. I would like to know Mr. Rossman's comments on he would like an ongoing presence here. What is that? You know, some kind of ideas here that are more informed than these vague comments that I'm seeing.
Yeah, okay, but we do have a motion to postpone in a second, so. Yes, Mr. Frank.
My concern of delaying this is, when I'm hearing this, there's a deadline. So is delaying this gonna miss a deadline? Or have we already missed the deadline? We have guaranteed missed it.
Yeah, we've missed it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, all those in favor of postponement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we postponed. It was kind of a wish thing anyway, but, anyway, shouldn't comment. A discussion and possible action, including proposed resolution to remove East Hall from UW campus lease. So we're gonna have a discussion, before we introduce the resolution. And Ms. Gentis?
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
yes, Mr. McGuire?
Did we have an opportunity to present a question on this?
Right now, you're gonna have that opportunity.
Okay, I see at the bottom there that I missed that meeting, and I hope I don't embarrass myself asking an answer for an easy question, but
Never an
I'm
embarrassment.
confused a little bit here by this terminology where it says that we're trying to create a sustainable model to success of other two-year rural colleges. Can somebody explain that to me?
No, that's, you're going back to the previous resolution, aren't you? Yeah, we're done with that. We postponed that then.
Okay, we postponed that.
Yep.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you.
So now, but we're on East Hall now, out at the campus, so you might have some thoughts about that.
You want me to?
But Linda Gentis will tell us.
Okay,
some
so the
background.
last meeting, we had a resolution with and the wording was intent to have Counselor Window look into this. And in the meantime, we've had a discussion and a meeting, and now we need, in order to actually move forward, we had to have another resolution that says that he can go forward with writing the letter so that Mr. Rothman could sign it, and the lawyers have talked about that. Is that correct, Mike?
We haven't had direct discussions yet, but they've previously indicated that it would not require a Board of Regents meeting to remove the East Hall from the agreement. And so this simply authorizes me to draft the paperwork to remove East Hall from the lease agreement so that the county can do with it whatever it may choose to in the future.
Yeah, and it's not telling us what we have to do with it, or.
No, I know. I'm just
Speak,
saying
so.
that now we can act, we needed a more definite resolution.
Right, so, Mr. Reddish? Okay, well, let's read the resolution now, shall we? Let's read it. Mr. Kaylee's read a if you have a resolution, did you quickly put one together here to cover this?
There is a resolution. I can read it unless are you okay with me reading it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's resolution number 23-35. It's a resolution to remove East Hall from the UW campus lease.
Mr. Chair, so as you recall, we discussed this at the beginning of the meeting. We cannot actually act on this without a majority vote of the board to bring this motion forward.
Okay, all right, then we'll do it in two parts. I need a motion to bring this resolution forward. Mrs. Glassbender, seconded by Ms. Gentis. Okay, all those in favor of bringing the resolution forward, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We brought it forward.
Okay. So now I can read the resolution as you have it before you. Resolution number 23-35. Whereas the East Hall Building and associated land is currently under lease from Richland County by the University of Wisconsin Board of Regents. Whereas the building is currently underutilized by the University of Wisconsin. And whereas the Richland County Board of Supervisors has previously resolved to remove East Hall from the UW Campus Memorandum of Agreement. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that the East Hall property described as, insert legal description there you have before you, be removed from the current memorandum of agreement and returned to Richland County for alternative use. Be it further resolved that Corporation Counsel Michael Wendell is hereby directed to send a letter to the president of the University of Wisconsin system referencing the resolution regarding the authority to amend the lease agreement, which was adopted by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin system at its February 5th, 2010 meeting, and stating further that Richland County wants to release this parcel from the agreement, as well as prepare any documents necessary to carry out this resolution. Be it further resolved that the county administrator is hereby authorized to sign on behalf of the county any documents necessary to carry out this resolution. And be it further resolved that the resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication. And this is offered pursuant to an oral motion per Board Rule 19.
Okay, you've heard the resolution. Now, what's your pleasure with the resolution? Mrs. Weiss, seconded by Mr. Reddish. Everyone know what we're voting on, taking the East Hall out of the lease so we can do with it what we want. All those in favor signify. Yes, Mr. Gotchel.
Is there a reason? Do we have plans or that this is just future, for future initiatives?
Ms. Gentis, I'll let you respond.
There's definitely been an indication of plan, and I think we've discussed it in the past, but since we have to take it out and then it would go into Public Works, is that correct? And Public Works would make those decisions on if they get the proposal that has been presented to us.
Right. You know, several things have been kicked around, Mr. Gotchel. We've had some private interest by companies wanting, I guess, an office building. We've had interest from school districts. So, but right now it's really underutilized. Okay. All those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The resolution is adopted. So I only heard one no. All right. Number 29, a resolution approving a firm to perform civil engineering work on the radio tower project. Mr. Kalish.
This will be resolution number 23-36. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted to enter into a contract with Edge Consulting Engineers, Inc. of Prairie-du-Sac in the amount of
Oops, I'm sorry.
$308,050. Be it further resolved that the funds to carry out this resolution shall come from Fund 94, and approval is hereby granted for the county administrator to sign the contract. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage and publication. This is being offered to you by the Public Safety Standing Committee, which met before this meeting today, March 21st of 23.
You've heard the resolution. What's your pleasure? Mrs. Luck, second by Mrs. Boyce. This is the ongoing radio project. Go ahead, Melissa.
So this is just the next step in our radio tower project. This is bringing in the civil engineers to do all of the necessary things that they do to move the project forward. So this is the plan. This is a planned contract and the planned step in the process.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
question, on the bottom of that resolution, it doesn't state how the individuals have voted. Do we know that information?
I can tell you that we all voted in favor.
Thank you.
Good eyes, Ms. Lemon. I believe that was you. Okay. Are we ready to vote? Get this thing going? All those, yeah, Mr. Carroll.
I would look for, information on how many bids had been received or if there were, what the RFP was that went out, in the public safety folder. So I was just wondering if we could learn more about that.
Ms. Luck, can you respond to Mr. Carroll?
Right, so we did an RFP for our general contractor, which is the True North Consulting. And they are the ones providing us with subcontractors. And I believe that Director Scott actually talked with Mr. Wendell to confirm that we do not indeed need to go out to bid on all of these different subcontractors. This particular one, my understanding is they would work with this subcontractor on numerous projects, and it's within, it's the appropriate budgeted amount that we budgeted for it, and they've given us a scope of work. So I don't know, Mr. Wendell, if you want to comment any further on that.
Just that that's correct. It's not a blanket statement that any subcontractor is exempt from bid, but these specific services are.
Chair,
Yes, Mr. Vernon.
this is a general comment brought up by this specific bid, but I think we need to think about our procurement procedures and make sure we are doing the best we can with tax dollars.
Well said, well said. Okay, all those in favor of this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, next agenda item is appointments, and I'll refer to Administrator Langren.
Mr. Chair, tonight request to confirmation of Richland County Chair's appointment of Supervisor Richard McKee, District 5, to the Richland Housing Authority Committee.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Renich. Okay, a motion to adopt the appointment and seconded by Ms. Gentis. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Administrators report. Yes, go ahead, Administrator Langren.
Mr. Chair, this will be the last meeting that I'll have with you folks in the capacity of serving as your county administrator. I'd like to extend the most sincere thank you for allowing me this opportunity to work with you. Absolutely proud of the accomplishments that you folks took on in the last several years and that we were able to do together. It deserves an applause. And as the one lady that came here at the last meeting said, that showed up to say you folks are doing a good job, I would like to echo that. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. Certainly a lot of tasks out there that still remain. Cheryl and I are working diligently on putting a continuity list together on all the different tasks at hand and trying to get those assigned to the folks that can help carry them, or at least get them on the list so that the next person in the door can pick up on those. I will be having a little bit of a send-off gathering on the afternoon of April 4th, 12:30 to 4 p.m. That'll be prior to the Finance and Personnel Committee, the routine one scheduled again on April 4th. Certainly invite all you folks, department heads, staff, members of the community that would like to stop in. It's going to be heavy on pizza, low on debauchery, but would like to see you folks there. The lengthy list of things, of course, that are going to be continued on. Some of those main priorities is your radio tower project that we touched on tonight, as well as the borrowing component, which you're going to have come before you. You did you gave authorization for a resolution to borrow up to an amount. Now we have to come back around with a bond sale on that. And Clerk Kalish is also brought up to speed on that conversation. You'll have preparations of the 2024 budget, which is closely coming down the pipe, which we're going to try our best to facilitate and allow for success, as well as your strategic plan goals are some of the main elements. So there will be a special meeting next week with finance and personnel with discussions on how to fill that vacancy. I'll be working with Public Administration Associates to bring them in-house. They are a headhunting firm and they provide other types of administration services, and we'll have a conversation with them. Once that's solidified, we'll put out a notice to finance and personnel and all county board members. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Administrator Langren, for your last report. We are looking for a special county board meeting Probably on April 4th.
Potentially, it depends on what you folks, hear and what you want to do next week in that meeting.
Right, but I need maybe a show of hands for availability on April 4th.
Just,
Well, we're gonna have finance first, aren't we? Okay.
Finance and personnel is scheduled for 5 o'clock. If we need to make adjustments, we certainly can.
Well, we'll
I
say.
know the chair of that committee, so we can probably.
Yeah, we'll make adjustments, but we'll have our special board meeting at 6:30, let's say.
Mr. Chair, the April 4th is an election, if that matters to anybody.
Yeah, it matters to you. I know. It's a big
I
one.
mean, me, yes, but you folks here.
Matters to you.
We're gone.
We-
As long as it's over there.
Well, it'll be two.
But I can't.
Be over there. WebEx, we would have trouble on that evening potentially too with WebEx support.
Well, we have to fill the administrator position. And we're going to hear, the Finance and Personnel Committee will be hearing from a consulting firm. Yes.
Special
Chair?
Special meeting is that something we could facilitate doing it all online, versus trying to do the joint one?
No, we've got to do it in person.
It'd have to be over in the county border.
Okay, well, we had one meeting of Finance and Personnel today and we didn't resolve. We had a good discussion, a great discussion, but we did not
Mr. Chair,
make any definite recommendations. Yes, who's speaking?
Mr. Severson.
Yes,
So,
Mr.
With
Severson.
discussions that we had today, I think it would be relevant to have Mr. Kalish involved in this conversation. So if he's got an election that night, let's have it on a different day.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Okay, we can reach out to try to do a polling, or if you folks have a day that you can arrive at tonight, that would be ease of administration. And I can bring up a calendar here perhaps.
This is an after-hours meeting.
Yeah, let's go with Monday night, April 3rd.
Mr. Cooey is always interested in that.
Oh, yeah.
That would be fine with me.
Okay, does April 3rd work?
Works, why don't you take a roll call vote and then you know.
It's not on the agenda. I'm just polling here.
I won't be available April 3rd, but
Who won't?
I won't be.
Oh.
I have the rest of the week off after April 3rd.
Oh, well, I don't. I ought to be there. Okay. It looks like we'll have to do a poll,
Well, just check it now.
a doodle poll. All right, what do you like? April 5th, my birthday?
Yes.
Are you gonna make me a cake then?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
The 5th will work for me too.
That's a
Okay.
Wednesday.
That's a Wednesday. What time? Let's have it at 6 o'clock and get our business done and so I can celebrate my birthday. I don't celebrate birthdays.
This is the reception meeting.
No,
What time is the reception?
What reception? Clint's reception? That's
Yeah.
the afternoon of the April 4th, Clint's thing.
I
This
see.
is a special board meeting to consider the recommendations from the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of next week.
It's done.
All right? Okay. 6 o'clock.
so just to confirm, we have April 5th at 6 PM, correct?
Yes.
Okay. April 5th at 6 PM, the day after the election.
The day after the
Okay.
election. This is just a little election for a Supreme Court judge. It's not contentious.
Right, right.
No big deal. Wednesday. You know, even with a collar. Okay, motion to adjourn. Mr. Coy, second. Mr. Carroll, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.